Hey guys, this is Maniac, and this is another tutorial video for custom minifigures. And for this tutorial, I'm going to show you guys how to get good metallic red for your custom minifigures. Now, I just want to let people know, this is an idea that I came up with. This is the idea from my friend Shane, aka The Last Prime. He did it on his Iron Man figure back in 2016, and then he told us about it, and then we started using it. I used it first on my Iron Spider. That was the first minifigure I used that utilized his metallic red technique. I don't think he has made a video on that on his channel, and then again, he hasn't touched on his channel in a long time. And you guys want to figure out how we did it, and I'll show you guys the procedure. Currently, I'm using it right now to make my custom Iron Man figure from Infinity War, and you've seen previews of that on Instagram. And here it is right here. It's almost done, by the way. All I really need to do is complete his wings, and as for his weapons, I'm honestly not that motivated to make the weapons, to be honest. I just want to make the wings and call it a day, honestly. If you guys like these tutorials, be sure to give it a thumbs up, share it with your friends if they're interested in making custom minifigures, and let me know what other tutorials would you like me to do. I've got some suggestions about how to paint like straight lines. I'll probably do that. If you guys want to learn like different sculpting techniques, I've done general sculpting before. I've already done like LED tutorials. If you guys want me to do something like, I don't know, something about like faces or how to utilize different Lego parts for certain minifigures, let me know in the comments down below and I'll see what I can do. Now, to go over the materials, you need Model Master's enamel silver chrome trim. So you can get this on Amazon. I believe it's about like maybe $4. I'm not so sure. This is because this is enamel. It is not like your typical Apple Barrel, Volcar, or Craftsmart. It's not acrylic paint at all. It's enamel. Enamel utilizes oil instead of so it's not a water-based paint. And so you're gonna have to be very, very careful with this. This has a lot more hazardous chemicals. The next thing you need a tester's enamel thinner and brush cleaner. If you're using a brush for this enamel paint, because like I said, you cannot clean this off. You cannot clean your brush with using water if you want to get enamel out at all. You need some sort of like a acetone solution, such as this. And lastly, you need Model Master's acrylic transparent red, or you can use any transparent paint you want. But I believe I don't think there's like transparent blue with the same brand. I'm not so sure myself. So yeah, you're gonna need this. And this is, even though this is acrylic, it's not like your typical matte paint. This is almost like gloss paint, but even worse. And I'll show you guys how to combat that. The next tool you need, obviously a brush if you're comfortable using a brush, but I personally use toothpicks for this procedure because it's just less cleaning. Obviously you need a napkin and you need a bucket of water. So without further ado, let's move on to the tutorial. Now again, for a crash course, Model Master's silver chrome enamel paint is what you need, because what this is going to do, this is going to serve as a base to make your minifigure a bit shiny. Now we're going to use this like 1x2 base plate as a test. Now the reason why I find toothpicks are easier than a brush for this one, because this enamel paint is pretty, it's not really thick, it's pretty watered down, but it gets the job done. So what do you need to do? You need to shake it for at least like a minute. But because for the sake of the tutorial, I'm not gonna wait for a minute for this. But if you just shake it for at least a minute, you should be able to get like a nice silver surface. Carefully dip your toothpick inside. I'm not sure you can see that. Just grab a little bit of paint. You're gonna have to do multiple coats later on. Well, what you need to do, so pretty much once you get the paint, just smear it on, and you can see how liquid it's really, unlike enamel paint is pretty liquefied, unlike most acrylic paint. For acrylic paint, they're pretty thick. I guess it really depends on which color. Like black, for example, is pretty soft, but white, you need a lot of water for that, for acrylic. So you're gonna have to at least spread a coat. And you need to wait for this to dry. Unlike acrylic paint, enamel takes forever to dry. In fact, I don't think it ever dries at all. Which is why when I paint Winter Soldier's arm, there's a specific technique how to get it right. So that way when you put the arm back in the socket, you won't accidentally smush the paint. So, because if you do, then you can clearly see fingerprints. These things don't really dry. Like, oil paint does take forever. I don't know what's the duration, honestly. So I can't help you there. Now, if you're using a brush, you pretty much do the same thing with your brush, honestly. But once you're done, you gotta figure out a way how to get all the enamel paint off. So I have the brush cleaner in this tiny jar. I recommend buying a little tiny jar because it will definitely make things easier, so you don't have to stick the whole brush inside. So you just pretty much leave it in for like a minute. So once you do that, you should be able to like take it off, get a napkin, and just like wipe off the excess paint. And it should come out like pretty soon. And since this is a brush cleaner, it can also help restore your brush so you don't have all these hairs sticking out, which is really cool. So that's what you would do if you were to use a brush, but that's why I prefer using a toothpick for this method, because it's just easier. Once you're done with it, you can just throw it away, honestly. So I would recommend wait at like an hour for it to dry, and you can see it's pretty shiny, but you're going to need multiple coats for this, especially if you're doing like LED figures like my Iron Man, when you're using a transparent base, because it can still shine through, so you need to at least put like 2 to 3 coats. Luckily, I did this ahead of time. I actually painted this a week ago, and I'm going to do a little demonstration here. I'm going to press onto the enamel paint a little bit, and you can see it's starting to lose its like shine. It's starting to get a bit dull when I scrape it a bit. So yeah, it shows you that even it's been a week, it's still not completely dried, and you can still easily scrape off, which is a bit unfortunate. So you can easily just like have your fingerprint and all. So yeah, but no worries, because that's where this comes in. If you're making metallic red, what this like transparent red paint does, what it does, I think it pretty much like it's like a hardening shell, so you don't need to worry about it at all. So I currently have like making the wings for Iron Man, and if I just push onto it, it's pretty stiff. Like I don't think I'll leave any fingerprints or smudge the paint around. As long as I wait for the acrylic paint to dry, like the transparent red, it should be good. And the same thing with my Iron Man. So what you need to do, this one is a bit tricky, because this is actually a really thick paint, unfortunately, which means you can easily get globs, and because it's glossy, it can peel off. So that's why after you're done, before you paint all the details, like for the Iron Man I have here, you have to wait at least a couple of days until it solidifies, so that way you can paint on top of it and you can scrape off black outlines. But if you do it before that, it's just gonna peel off, and when this thing peels off, you're gonna have to peel the whole thing off, and you have to redo everything over again, and you do not want that. I made that mistake when I was making my Iron Spider figure. So yeah, now that we have our toothpick ready, let's get this going. So I have like a little tub of water right here, and you're gonna need a lot of water, honestly. So and don't worry if you can't get this all done in one coat. It's fine. It's gonna take practice. So yeah, dab a little bit of water on your toothpick, and carefully apply a little bit of paint. You don't want a big glob, and if you do, it's not going to look good. Get rid of some of the excess paint. Just make sure make sure it's a bit watery, so that way it's not too thick. I can't words. Anyway, once you get a little bit of red paint here, you're just gonna carefully just smudge it over until you get like an even surface. Add some more water if needed. Only use water to help spread the paint around a bit. Don't add in more paint, because I think that's not gonna give you even surface, and it's not gonna look good. Yeah, so there we go. So yeah, this is a first coat so far, and once it dries after a day, apply a second coat and do the same thing. This is not a quick procedure. This is the longest time you have to spend on a minifigure just waiting for paint to dry. For enamel, you're gonna have to wait for at least a couple of days to dry, and then for each coat of the transparent red, you wanna wait at least a day, honestly, to get like better results. I mean, realistically, maybe you can wait for an hour, but I prefer just like, it's better safe than sorry, honestly. So yeah, and we're gonna do this, and why not do the same thing for the Iron Man wings? So yeah. For this one, I just painted this like this morning. No, I'm sorry, I painted it yesterday. So yeah, we're gonna start painting the other portions of the wing and do the exact same thing, so I can show you guys what it's like. So yeah, again, get a toothpick, dab a little bit of water, and then a little bit of paint, and do the same thing what I did earlier. And you can see I'm already coloring this thing very well. And do the same thing. I'm gonna do into the other sides. And once you're all done and you do it right, it's gonna look pretty shiny. And I think if you guys do it right, you'll be satisfied with the result. And if you accidentally put too much red paint, just get water, scrape some of them off, and just apply it to somewhere else if needed. Because I actually just did that right now. And if you guys think one coat is good enough and you don't want any more, then you can just stop. Always keep applying water if needed. Again, don't add some more paint unless you're going to work on a different surface. That was a lot of paint, so I'm gonna get some water here, scrape some off, and apply it somewhere else. And that should be it. And I could apply a second coat for the bigger wings, but it actually looks pretty good. I think I'm just gonna leave it the way it is, and I'm gonna wait for this to dry so I can finish painting the rest of the detail tomorrow. So there you have it, guys. That's pretty much the basic tip of how to get metallic red for your custom minifigures. Now again, be very, very careful with enamel paint, because enamel paint is not like the other paint you're used to, and especially if I'm assuming since majority of you guys are kids, be very careful with this. If you spill some on your hand, don't worry, just wash it off with dish soap, and make sure you don't pick your nose or have your fingers near your mouth at all. You don't want this in your body, trust me. So yeah, that's it, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial. I hope you guys find this video useful, so you can make your own metallic red suits from Iron Man or Iron Spider or other minifigures that are in those two. So that's it, guys. I'll see you guys later, and let me know in the comments down below what other tutorial would you guys like me to do. See ya.